Yes, people, welcome back to Mission Podcast. I'm joined by Carpe and Hazza today for a Brock Lesnar tier ranking video. Brock Lesnar has basically recently retired, and we will be going through all of his rivalry or feuds. There are some feuds you say here where he just had one match with him and he basically squashed him or something, but I mean, it's on the list, so we'll basically be going through all of it and giving our thoughts on basically the whole career of Brock Lesnar. I think every moment of Brock Lesnar's career will basically be here and we'll basically go through it. So, yeah, man. Copy and Hazard, how are you both? All good?
Yeah, going all right. Really looking forward to this video, especially when you proposed it. Um, back at the career of Brock Lesnar is something that I've always been interested in doing on this podcast, considering how much I really like Brock Lesnar in terms of his in-ring work. Not to disassociate anything from outside, but his in-ring work, the rivalries that he's had, the matches he's got a wide catalogue of excellent matches within these rivalries. We're probably going to see a few rivalries where the potential could have been, that they could have made the S tier, but we're probably going to see a few B, C, D tiers, but certainly still some amazing rivalries in there. And we'll see that Brock is one of the goats because of those good rivalries.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar, he's a once in a lifetime attraction, isn't he? Probably the greatest athlete ever that we've ever seen. Just an absolute specimen. He'll be missed. He'll be missed.
Yeah, 100%. Starting off with one of his earlier rivalries against the Big Show. Obviously, this was, I think, 2002, 2003 when, Brock Lesnar made his debut. Big Show was already there. I remember them having a match at Survivor Series that year for the title. This was also where, Paul Heyman basically started betraying everyone and switching sides. But this feud, it was not a feud, to be honest. I won't say it's the best feud. It's not the, worst feud. I'd say it's the definition of a mid feud, to be honest. So I'd go with a C. I don't know about you guys.
I'm okay with that, and I think one of the big things when you look at a guy like Big Show is he gatekeeps, doesn't he? Carpe made this comment probably like a few months ago about I can't remember another superstar that he made the comment about, but Big Show's kind of like a gatekeeper, and what he does is he elevates the talent, and a lot of that is underappreciated for a man of his size. A lot of the time, you're a spectator and you probably don't know too much about wrestling. You see someone like the Big Show, and you think, yeah, he's got to be the world champ. He's big, he's strong. How is anyone going to beat him? And then along comes Brock Lesnar, the next big thing, puts him down, and he's just an amazing talent, isn't he? And I think the rivalry itself wasn't all that in comparison to what else is on the list. But I'll tell you something, it was something that was needed for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'd go C.
Because I remember Brock Lesnar lost the title. Oh well, Big Show beat him for the title, and that's when Paul Heyman switched sides. And then I remember the next PLE, I think it was Armageddon, where Kurt Angle actually beat Big Show after Brock Lesnar interfered in that match, and you know, cost Big Show the match. So it was a little feud, but at that time, obviously they had the match at was it Rumble 2014, where Big Show face off against Brock Lesnar for the last time. I don't think they face off after that. But yeah, I don't think it was the worst feud. I think C is pretty fair, to be honest. The next feud, really, really short feud, to be honest, and it was based around real life stuff with that injury. Hardcore Holly versus Brock Lesnar. Where would you guys put this?
Yeah, D tier. But I don't know. It's for me. It's just funny in it because hardcore back in the day had a reputation for being a dickhead to the youngsters. Just bullying them. And he met his match, didn't he? He picked on the wrong fucker. You don't pick on Brock Lesnar, bruv.
100%.
Are we saying D tier because it's a rivalry that was
It's
short and
just
we
mid, innit? It's just
It's,
like,
yeah.
it just did nothing for Brock Lesnar all did it, and it was just filler. So yeah. The next
Fair.
feud, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. So this obviously started at the Rumble 2022, where they both had their matches. This is where Roman interfered and cost Brock Lesnar the title, and Bobby Lashley won that. Obviously, Brock Lesnar interfered in the chamber, or was in the chamber, and he absolutely battered everyone and won the title. That's why it led to the winners take all match. And Bobby Lashley that Mania, I think faced, I can't remember who he faced that year, but obviously he wasn't part of the title scene because he lost his title at Chamber to Brock Lesnar. So So that was the first part of the feud. The second part, I think, was a crown jewel later that year. They had a match, and then the feud obviously carried on to the Rumble, where I think Bobby Lashley actually eliminated Brock Lesnar straight away. And then they had the match, a really disappointing match at Elimination Chamber with a really weird finish. I don't know what they were thinking about that. I thought it was going to be a feud that carried on to Mania 39 that year, but they never carried it on. Obviously, Brock Lesnar ended up facing Omos, and Bobby Lashley just won the Honor the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So, really, really weird feud this.
I think it was more frustrating that the fact that it could have been something a lot more. Instead, it was kind of used as a stepping stone where it could have just, this feud itself could have been a main event of WrestleMania. And the way it was kind of handled really was disappointing for me. Especially as that, you use Bobby Lashley as a stepping stone for Brock Lesnar to then take the belt off Lashley, to then take it to WrestleMania, to then lose it to Roman Reigns. Felt a little bit, empty. Put this in the D tier. It's one of those that could have easily been
Yeah,
S.
it's due to how this was dubbed as like a dream feud and a dream match at one point, and it's just so lackluster.
Braun Strowman against Brock Lesnar during 2017. I remember the match they had at No Mercy. I think it was the main event for the title. Went about 4 minutes. I think on that card it was Roman Reigns against John Cena too. 2017. I'm pretty sure it was that year.
That was a great ball of fire,
Um,
isn't it?
yeah. No, that was Mojo.
Ugh.
At SummerSlam that year, obviously they did the four-way with Brock, Roman, Braun Strowman, and Samoa Joe. One of the best four-ways I've ever seen personally. And then obviously that transcended into this feud where Braun Strowman basically faced Brock Lesnar. He was never going to win the title. Brock Lesnar was always going to win that, retain that title. And then I remember Brock Lesnar went away for a long time, came back next year near Mania time with the title. But yeah, man, this feud, I think it is one of many feuds where we can be like, this feud could have been so good, man. Like it could have been so good. Two guys who you could tell they loved working with each other. You know, the way the matches was structured, especially the SummerSlam match. And this match went 4 minutes, man. I think Brock Lesnar was like,
Until they
yeah,
did it.
exactly. And yeah, man, this is one of the many feuds where I'm like, could have been so much better. Same with the Bobby Lashley feud, right? Was so little, but just could have been so much better. So I can't put this higher than D, to be honest.
Thing is, Braun Strowman at this time, he was red hot. He just had feuds with Roman Reigns, and then I think WWE were trying to position him in a place where he could be the one to beat Brock, and fans were behind it, but the execution was just poor. And Braun Strowman, look at him now, man, just fizzled out.
I think it frustrates me a lot more as well with Braun Strowman is that because he was so red hot and everyone wanted him to win, him losing ever since then, absolute car crash, right? Look at the way he was beating stars. I remember him and Cena had a match, and I was scared for my life for John Cena when he had a match with Braun Strowman. And then I think Elimination Chamber followed around that year, and Strowman, I think it was the first 7-man chamber or something like that, and he eliminated
Oh, yeah.
5 stars, and then Reigns speared Strowman. Like, they were never going to put someone like Braun Strowman in a main event of WrestleMania, unfortunately, as much as it pains me to say it. But when you look at kind of like how that rivalry did so little for Braun Strowman and did even less for Brock Lesnar, it kind of leaves me no choice but to put it in the D tier as well.
Yeah. When was it the one when Brock punched Braun Strowman?
That was at the Rumble.
That was the triple threat with Kane, Braun Strowman, and Brock Lesnar.
Oh, yes,
Then
yes.
2017. Yeah, that
Was that
was it.
2017?
Because he needed it quite hard, didn't he?
Yeah, that's when Brock made his return in 2017, and they had the.
Okay, that's probably why then he didn't. Brock probably killed his person. This fucker tried to kick.
Yeah, bro, I mean, like you guys were saying, Braun Strowman, bro, during 2017 period was red hot. Like during this period, especially, I was saying, listen, there's two guys you can put the belt on. You can put the belt on Samoa Joe or Braun Strowman, and they just, didn't decide to pull the trigger with either and just, stayed Brock Lesnar until I don't know, Roman Reigns beat him at SummerSlam 2018, which again really weird. This follows the same trend of disappointing feuds. Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar.
Can we even count this as a feud?
I was gonna say, can you really count it as a feud when they never had a match and it was just a angle? I don't know really.
Just leave it out. Just leave it out and just.
Yeah, I mean, it's going on the DT anyways if you want to put it out because
that was so
we need a
disappointing.
separate tier then or something.
Because this
I
was
can't believe
this was Brock's original match for Mania 32, right? Before he got Ambrose, it was his original match. For some reason, it didn't happen, and I don't know what the Wyatts were doing on that card. Or they had a segment with Rock and Cena,
Yeah.
but for some reason, I don't know why they totally went away with it. Maybe it was Brock didn't want to work with Wyatts, but I mean, he worked with Ambrose on that match.
Wasn't it to do with Bray being injured or something?
Probably was that because he never got much on the card and he was in a segment.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, I think they did lay the foundations for a match between Bray Wyatt and Brock Lesnar at Mania 32, which Brock probably would have won. But yeah, man, I remember this angle where they took him. They all came in the Rumble, basically all eliminated from the Rumble, and after that, nothing just happened. And Brock went in a feud with Ambrose. I think, like you said, Bray Wyatt was injured. I think he returned in the Raw after Mania when he basically turned like a babyface then. But yeah, man, this is another really, feud where it could have been really great, but injuries and stuff just ruined him. The next feud, Kane Velasquez. Oh my
Put it in
days.
detail. I don't want to talk about it.
Bro, where he squashed Kofi Kingston and Kane Velasquez comes out with Rey Mysterio. They absolutely sabotaged Kofi Kingston's title reign just for this angle and just for this match. Crown Jewel probably was Crown Jewel, right? And yeah, man, I don't think it's worth talking about, to be honest. The first good feud, the first really, really good feud we've got on this tier ranking is Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk in 2013. Obviously, Punk was with Heyman, for like a year, a bit more than a year, and then obviously CM Punk Paul Heyman cost CM Punk at Money in the Bank in 2013, if I remember correctly. And CM Punk was about to attack Paul Heyman the next night. Brock Lesnar comes. Pretty simple story you could tell there. Brock Lesnar trying to save, Paul Heyman from CM Punk, and that's where it went from there. But the main thing I want to talk about this feud is the match. I thought that SummerSlam match was phenomenal. It was so good. That SummerSlam had two all-time matches with Cena Bryan and Punk Brock. I personally thought this Punk Brock match was better, to be honest. But such a good match, man. Like at this time, I think Punk was tired of the company, wasn't it? The way he was getting treated, but he put everything in this match. I remember the convo. He was like, I spoke to Vince, and Vince was like, "Yeah, you're gonna lay down for Brock," and I was like, "Bro, who's gonna be here the next day?" And then blah blah blah, whatever. But it was a really short feud, like a month or so. But the match at the end of it was a fantastic match, man.
Yeah, I mean, even though it was only one match, the feud itself is exactly what we needed at that point. The whole Paul Heyman and CM Punk storyline, it just fit. It was brilliant. The match was great. I loved it. But I don't think it deserves to go S tier though, because
No. I would not even put it A tier, to be honest. I think just one good match and a month feud, maybe B.
yeah,
It's not really a rivalry per se, but it's kind of like a good story, a good angle that could have been benefited from having maybe a title or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless I'm too tired, it might have had a title or something. I don't know.
No, I didn't. The next feud, really recent again, a trilogy. Cody Rhodes against Brock Lesnar.
See,
Obviously,
this
Brock
is
Lesnar. Yeah, go on.
this is a rivalry. I just find that the way that it started was so hilarious to me. Like
Yeah.
Cody had just lost at 39, and we thought we were gonna get a tag team match on Monday Night Raw between Lesnar and Rhodes versus, was it Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns?
Yeah.
And I was gassed watching that live, despite the fact that everything on the show had been kind of poor since, like, Seth Rollins had a segment that got cut out, and everything else just felt a bit mid. But that I was looking forward to. And then Lesnar, to this day, the only reason I can fathom that he attacked him for was because he wanted him to be ready for Roman Reigns. They had three really good matches, I thought. That SummerSlam one especially sticks to my mind, when he keeps throwing Rhodes out of the ring, almost basically saying, "You're not ready for this. You're not ready for this. You're not ready for me." And then, Rhodes beats Lesnar. They shake hands at the end, and I thought that was a really good point in rivalry that deserves an A tier spot. It was a really, really it was perfect.
Oh, I don't know about that. I feel like the matches, they were good, but the feud itself, the reason it started was kind of dumb. Like
They never really explained it, right? They never really explained why Brock Lesnar attacked Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you kind of have to almost figure out for yourself, because Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar. He kind of does whatever the hell he wants. You know, that's kind
I
of
feel
what
like
it is.
I feel like this was a feud, right, where Brock Lesnar was at that point where he was kind of becoming the gatekeeper for the next guy to move on to the main event scene, right? And they basically just done that as a storyline, which I didn't really like.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you know what it is. Like, if you want to be the guy to beat Roman Reigns, you've got to be the guy that can at least try and beat Brock Lesnar. That's kind of what they were setting up, weren't they? It was almost like a Summer of Rhodes, Summer of Cena style type of thing. I almost thought, where Cody Rhodes has kind of got to go on a year-long run of being in crazy feuds, going through a lot of trials and tribulations, and that Brock Lesnar one was obviously going to be one of them, because if he can beat Brock Lesnar, then he can beat Roman Reigns, which he did at the end.
Yeah, I thought this feud was fun, to be honest. Obviously, we all know why they did it, to drag some time on until Cody got his rematch versus Roman. I think, like Kaza said, it was basically the summer of Cody, facing Brock, and then later in the year he won the tag belts with Jay, and then obviously got back to Roman after he won the Rumble. They had three matches: Backlash, Night of Champions, and SummerSlam. The funniest one was where Cody passed out from the Kimura. Is flipping hilarious. I don't know whoever passed out from the
Now
Kimura.
you know what was jokes about this feud. I remember, was it the SummerSlam, the match package? It
Oh, the
had that
video package was.
running from the daylight.
And then obviously Brock Lesnar after the match he shook hands with Cody Rhodes, and then went away for a long time, to be honest. Obviously all the stuff that came up, everything, so he couldn't
Yeah.
actually return at the Rumble in 2024. But yeah, I can't put this in SOA personally. I'd say B is fair, to be honest. I don't know about Carpe Hazza.
I mean, to be fair,
Yeah.
I would have put. To be fair, I put it in A, more so in what it done for Cody Rhodes, and
Mm.
all the surrounding controversy around Brock Lesnar. I don't know.
I don't know.
If
I
you
was a
want to
bit
put the
underwhelmed by it. I
Yeah,
think the
I'd say
matches
B.
were fine, but
I
I was
quite liked it, to be fair, but if you want to put it in B, I guess we need to be quite critical about the other feuds that Brock Lesnar has, so I don't mind putting it B, I guess.
A few that we will be critical about. Brock Lesnar against Dean Ambrose, bro. Oh
Dean
my
Ambrose,
days.
funny guy, man. How are you proposing a death match to Brock
The,
Lesnar, man?
the
Yo,
most underwhelming match I've ever seen in my life, bro. Like, bro, Dean Ambrose came out with Mick Foley, obviously backstage saying, "I'm gonna bring this out and that out." And Brock Lesnar was like, "No, bro, I'm beating you in 6, 7 minutes," and that's exactly what Brock Lesnar did. And the match was awful. Did nothing for either man. People at the time were saying, "Listen, Ambrose might win this." I'm like, "Bro, Brock Lesnar is not losing to Dean Ambrose. He's definitely winning this." I don't actually remember how this came about. Feud is probably because they needed something for Brock Lesnar, and after Bray's injury, and they had Ambrose on the court who was pretty much doing nothing at that time, and that's how the feud came about. Yeah, man, pretty awful, to be honest. Not gonna lie.
But I put for this feud, yeah, I put the blame on WWE because for like weeks in the build, yeah, they had Dean doing skits with Mick Foley,
Yeah,
bringing in these new cool weapons. I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use that. And they even tease it during the match with Ambrose dashing everything in. It's like, if you're not gonna do anything extreme, just don't do it. I get it, yeah, Dean wanted to do this, but like, come on, bro, it's Brock Lesnar. He ain't gonna do that shit for you.
yeah. I remember the match at Fastlane. It was Roman versus Ambrose versus Brock. The winner would face Triple H in the main event for the title, and that's where Roman did win to get his rematch. And Ambrose obviously ended up facing Brock Lesnar. People actually wanted Ambrose with Triple H because that would have been much hotter, and the fans didn't actually hate Ambrose at that time. But
wasn't it?
yeah,
Wasn't it?
man,
Wasn't it at the Rumble that
Triple
Ambrose
H
got thrown
returned.
out by Triple H? Yeah, I would have
Yeah,
thought that would have been pretty cool, to be fair.
yeah. But Ambrose did get his title match. I think it was Roadblock against Triple H where he lost. But yeah, man, this is definitely going in D. I'm not gonna awful.
There's got to be a separate tier between like D for
We'll
fucking
differentiate a bit
so
of this
bad versus
later on.
absolutely honkingly, reekingly, disgustingly bad.
Yeah, I think some of these you could probably put in C because compared to some of the other ones, they're not as bad. But the next one, Drew versus Brock Lesnar, a COVID feud basically, right? Drew won the Rumble in 2020, mega hot. Everyone wanted Drew in the main event scene for such a long time since he returned. He's finally got that push, and COVID hits. We get that match in front of no fans at WrestleMania 36. It was, yeah, and yeah, Drew just beat Brock Lesnar in I think it was about 4 or 5 minutes. The build up before this, I remember the one week where Drew claimed Brock Lesnar on the stage and held the title, but I think COVID did ruin this feud. I think this could definitely be like an SOAT if we got that build, but COVID came and Brock Lesnar was not there at all, to be honest. And Drew was there cutting promos in front of pretty much no one. So yeah, man, pretty disappointed. But again, I'm not going to put the blame on either wrestler here.
Yeah, as you said, Danny, the way this feud started, right, was Royal Rumble when Brock entered the match as champion, and then Drew's the one, he claymores him and eliminates him, and the crowd goes absolutely crazy. And from then on, like when Drew won the Rumble, the promos, the battles they had, it was red hot, this feud, and it's just such a shame what happened, man. So I can't really blame either guy. It was such a good feud. It was on its way to being such a great feud, but like I'd still put it in like a B.
What he did for Drew McIntyre, I'm willing to put in a B. Not gonna lie. What about Hazard?
Yeah.
What do you mean? You would put it in B, or would you put it higher?
No, in B. It's not going higher than B, to be honest.
No, that's fair. I think like y- it feels so selective of me to say this because Drew McIntyre is like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, going up against another one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Brock Lesnar. So I'm going to talk it from a biased perspective. Like if you took the entire COVID element out of it, it would probably be an A or an S tier. But if we're going on the same criteria that CM Punk only had one match with Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre also only had one match with Brock Lesnar, then it kind of has to sit in the B tier. But when you look at it from like a Drew McIntyre perspective, um, you know, he was also like he was was he a heel or was he a tweener? Like coming into the Royal Rumble because then he kind of made like a face turn when as soon as he won the Rumble and people were so happy that he won. So was I, to be fair. It's like my favorite Rumble. It's like I think it's my favorite Rumble to be honest because of the pacing and everything of it. Anyway, it's unfortunately got to be B. I'm really disappointed I have to put it in B, but it
Yeah,
could have been an A or an S tier rivalry just because of how good they both were.
yeah. Like you said, it was a natural babyface turn, right? It wasn't like he came on 1 week and stalking babyface promos. I think over time, especially in that January of 2020, Drew McIntyre slowly turned into a babyface because he was a heel for pretty much most of his tenure before that, right? When he was teaming up with Dolph Ziggler, doing nothing, and the company was like, "Yeah, we need a new star," and Drew was the one they chose that year. You guys remember who the other option was? Who they never made at the end? Alistair Black. He was apparently the other option that was going to win the Rumble if it wasn't Drew, but I think Drew was definitely the right decision.
Drew
Moving on
McIntyre is
to the
charismatic, man.
next feud, Eddie Guerrero against Brock Lesnar, who obviously just had that match at No Way Out in 2004, where Eddie Guerrero won the WWE Championship in, one of my favorite matches of all time. As a feud, again, it's hard to put this, as a feud because it was just that match, but that match had such a great moment. I don't know where I'm putting mine. Carpe Hazza.
Do you know what it is though, Danny? Like, as even though it was only one match, the feud itself, the build up was actually fantastic as
Yeah.
well. Like, bro, it used real life drama and real life shit, and it just made Eddie into a even bigger superstar than he already was. Like, everyone was rooting for this guy to beat Brock. Like, the Brock coming out and he's like calling Eddie Guerrero, "You're not fit to wear this belt. You're not good enough. You're a drug addict." Blah blah blah. And then I will always, this is one of my favorite promos of all times, right? Eddie Guerrero delivers something straight from the heart. Like, it's not fake, it's not a character thing. He gives it straight from the heart when he says, "You're right, I am an addict." The high that I get from being in this ring, hearing the fans and the crowd's just going electric. And he's like, "What a high it is, me and you, Holmes." Oh, it's so good, man. It's so good, the Eddie Guerrero promo that he cut to Brock Lesnar. And it's funny as well about that promo. You can see Brock in the ring. He's like smile. He's trying not to smile because
Yeah.
he himself is appreciating like what a great promo it was from Eddie. It was so good, man. And then the match itself was amazing. It just made Eddie into a bigger star than he even was, wasn't he?
Where would you guys put this? It's going S or A for me.
I'd say A because it was one match only. I'd put it A.
That's fair. The next feud, Finn Balor. I think it was the Rumble. I can't remember what year it was. Must have been 2018, to be honest. I think it was.
Nah, it's 2020. It was 2020.
Was it 2020? Are you sure it's 2020? No. It can't be 2020. He defended his title against in the Rumble that year.
No, he didn't defend it. He defended against Finn at the start of the night, and then he just entered casually in the Rumble.
Must have been that year then. Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar. As a match, I thought Brock Lesnar was gonna win this. Finn Balor was never gonna beat him for the title. pretty meh feud, to be honest. I don't know there's much more that can I say about this feud.
Oh, it's the same as most of the other feuds. Well, some of the feuds and rivalries that are there. You know, one isn't going to win, but
Uh,
it's always nice to have a
I,
good match on.
I put it seated though because I don't remember it being terrible. Like the match was good and it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
It was 2019, not 2020, 2018. It was 2019. Yeah. Brock Lesnar against Goldberg. So obviously after he made his return um, in 2016, Goldberg, the other match Survivor Series.
Are we count 2004 one as well? You might as well count the overall because
I
you
can't
can't.
lie. I want to put this in S tier straight away. I feel
Yeah,
it just
probably I'd say
feels.
we can both of them, to be honest, because it's
Yeah.
basically a feud engine. But yeah, I thought the early part. What do you think of the early part of the feud?
It was a dream match on paper. Like everyone wanted to see it, but then it was a weird situation because both guys they got
On the
leaked
way
on
out.
the internet
Yeah.
that they were leaving, and the fans just kind of turned on the match. They were just booing them the whole time. So, what was meant to be a dream match just left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. And I think they had Stone Cold as like the referee for some reason, and he just stunners both of them, and then they just fuck off into the sunset.
Yeah. Obviously in 2016, where Goldberg, he was rumored for a bit to make his return because he was part of the 2K games, I think. Made his return. And we were all pretty much like, okay, listen, Brock Lesnar is gonna win here. It is what it is. But bro, I think the way they done the match and everything about the match was fantastic. Goldberg comes out, shocks Brock Lesnar, spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3 minutes. I think it was probably even less than that. And Goldberg's won the match. And then obviously that's the match. Both of them don't do much until the Rumble. I think that year, the 2017 Rumble was dubbed as one of the, action-packed Rumble. They had these two in, you had Taker in, you had all the stars in this Rumble, right? And they ended up being pretty disappointing. I think we can all agree with, Randy winning when it should have probably been someone like a Jericho winning, to be honest. And I think I think Goldberg did obviously end up eliminating Brock Lesnar, if I remember correctly. And then whilst Kevin Owens was champion, Goldberg challenged Kevin Owens. Jericho made interference,
You
and
know
that.
what? This feud, yeah, it was good for what it was. I remember at the time people were pissed at it just because of the fact they done Kevin Owens over in it. But like if you take that out of it, as a feud, it was actually very entertaining. The whole Goldberg returning, him being the boogeyman basically for Brock Lesnar, and then the match itself at Mania, it was a fun little match, 5 minute match.
Their match at Mania was actually a really good show match. One of the most enjoyable fun matches you'll actually watch because it was just like big move after big move after big move, and then Brock Lesnar wins the title of Goldberg. So yeah, man, pretty enjoyable. Can you really put it in S because of the first part of the feud? I don't
Nah,
know.
I
I'd
mean,
say
yeah, but like, I know you're trying to put everything like together, but it's a lot better than a lot. I think it's a lot better than the B ones. I can't really say too much about the Eddie Guerrero feud because I didn't watch too much of it. So I can't really impart my own opinion on it. But like, it's certainly one of the most enjoyable feuds because of the matches you can go back and watch. And it's just two like pillars of wrestling just going against each other.
well, they've only had 3 matches to be fair, and 2 of them were good and one of them was bad. Um,
I'd say I don't know you guys.
I'd say A, yeah, A is
No, we'll
safe.
go with A.
The next one, Hulkster
This
against
one you can't even count, to be honest. It's not really a rival. They literally had one match on the
Can we just move
SmackDown.
on?
yeah,
Was the next one the Hardy Boys?
against Brock Lesnar.
This
Look
was
at
literally his first ever feud. It was good for what it was, to be honest.
see
Yeah, I'd be on C.
Brock Lesnar against John
Oh,
Cena. Now
this
this
is
is
the
a feud
best.
I'm putting in S tier. I'm telling you guys, this is going S tier straight away.
100%.
Their match, their match at Extreme Rules, right? Even though I think it did have the wrong winner, I think Cena, having this whole redemption year and beating Brock Lesnar straight away shouldn't have not been a thing, right? And Brock Lesnar losing his first match back. I mean, listen, it's Brock Lesnar. He can afford how many losses and still be the beast. But I think Brock Lesnar should have definitely won this match, right? And obviously he lost. And then all the way over to 2014 where they had that just fantastic squash match, man. Like one of the best squash matches you'll ever watch. And it's only possible because of how Brock portrayed as this, monster, and how Cena kept coming back every time. But at the end, it was just too much for him, and Brock Lesnar beat him for the title. But overall, as a feud, even the promo packages between both of these, the promos between, mostly Paul Heyman and John Cena. But I thought it was fantastic, man. Like, I enjoyed this so much.
Yeah. I mean, discounting, if you want to take everything all into account, you want to discount the WrestlePalooza um, match between the two of them. But the way that Brock Lesnar returned after Mania, was it in 2012, 2013? I don't remember the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2012.
When he returned, like for him to for his match for that feud to be with John Cena and the remember I kind of remember all the commotion in the ring. It just felt perfect. Like this entire rivalry just felt like it was meant to be. You know, two OVW guys going at it to the best of the generation as well. I think one of the squash match. Honestly, like if you look at a load of the crowd reactions, there's kids crying, man. That Brock Lesnar did. He was making kids cry because they squashed their goat. Like flipping heck. You've never really seen anybody
Do
have
you
a
know what's funny as well? You can even take this rivalry back to '03. They had a few
yeah.
matches in '03. They
Yeah.
had like a Cena was the heel. That was actually very entertaining as
It
well.
was
Like
it
if
was
you go
when
back,
it was when he was Thugonomics, wasn't he?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Oh, give
that
me
was a
my
really
super,
funny
don't
feud. They
give
had
me
some good
brain.
matches, They had one very good match out of No Mercy, I think. And yeah, seeing that famous promo, Rory taking the piss out of Brock for having no brains. But yeah, take that rivalry into consideration. And when Brock Lesnar is John Cena's biggest hit. Hasn't he returned 3 times against 3 times he's returned to come and take out Cena.
Oh
He done it in
yeah,
2012,
SummerSlam
SummerSlam
2021 as well.
21, and then SummerSlam 2025. It's kind of funny, but the 2014 feud in particular, and even the 2012 feud was sick. I remember when Brock came back, it was a holy shit moment. And then the very next week, they had that massive brawl, didn't they?
Oh yeah, bro. You
That
don't
was
see
really
brawls like that anymore. That brawl was
yeah.
amazing.
The 2012 feud was actually really good. It just the match was amazing as well. Extreme. It was just the wrong decision. It was just book. It just didn't. It was bizarre. And you know what's funny about that? Brock Lesnar losing that match kind of forced them to make Brock Lesnar end the streak. Like it was so simple, right? You just have Brock beat Cena and you have Brock beat Triple H at Mania, but for some reason he lost to both guys, and then Brock had to. They didn't have to, but then they thought, okay, we need to make Brock look strong again. How do we do it? And it ended the streak. But listen, the streak. I'm in the support of it. It never should have been broken, but at the same time, I get what it done for Brock Lesnar as well. And heading into the 2014 SummerSlam, wow, it was amazing. And the promos Cena was cutting, some of those underrated promos of his career as well. He was cutting some serious promos, talking about how Paul Heyman is not Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar's a mercenary. And do you guys remember that promo with Passion when he just screams Passion like every 2 minutes? Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
And that promo where Edge actually comes into the ring with Cena and he was telling him
Yeah,
to look up. That was a really it was well. And obviously I think their last match before obviously the 2025 match was a triple threat, right? At Rumble 2015, and
yeah,
that's all
that
time
was
match as
amazing.
well. So yeah, I mean I'm putting this in ST to be honest.
Yeah, I mean the rest of Palooza thing was kind of shit. I'm not gonna lie, but
We ignore that, bro.
I can ignore that.
We just ignore all of Cena's retirement talk. It was BS. Um, again, not really a feud, but they built up to a, I think it was the Fox debut. They were like, oh, Brock Lesnar is going to take on Kofi Kingston for the title. And in 8 seconds, 8 seconds, Kofi Kingston runs up Brock Lesnar. F5, that's it. He wins. All done for, again, the post-show angle where Ken Velasquez comes out with Rey Mysterio and that sets up the match at Crown Jewel. Yeah, this is going in deep, yeah, I'll be honest with you.
It's not even a rivalry to us.
So, yeah, well, funny man. And the next one.
Oh, yes.
Kurt Angle against Brock Lesnar. These
Esther,
both had the promos, they had the matches, they had the chemistry. These both had everything, bro.
This feud was absolutely special, and it carried out. This feud was one of the key reasons that SmackDown was clearing Raw in that time period as
Yeah.
well. You had the tag team division and you had the main event scene was just on fire. Brock and Kurt Angle, two wrestling purists. unreal chemistry. They put so many 5-star classics. The one that sticks out to me is the SmackDown Iron Man match that they had. It was fucking phenomenal. That was on free television as well. I mean, the whole storyline between these two, it wasn't really a thing where one guy was the clear-cut heel or the clear-cut face. It was mostly like a competitive thing. Like, oh, we're the top two guys on our brand, and who's better, me or you? It was a fun rivalry as well. It wasn't the purely like bad guy versus good guy, which I really, really liked. Obviously, WrestleMania 19, the iconic fucking bump where Brock tries to do the sharpshooter and nearly breaks his neck. Oh, it's just a legendary rivalry. One of the greatest rivalries we've ever had. Esther easy.
Brock Lesnar against Omos. Mania 39, they had the match. I think it went about 6 minutes. It wasn't actually the worst match in the world. Brock Lesnar, obviously beat Omos. I don't know what the exact reason for this match happening was. I just remember it was MVP, and he took on Omos during this time. Most of less popular shit around this time as well. And yeah, they ran this match at Mania 39. I think they had 1 or 2 segments together before that. I think they had a win as well.
Deep,
Obviously,
man. It's
it
just
was,
pointless.
this was Cowboy era Brock, and yeah, like you said,
It's pointless because they didn't really do anything for Omos, did it?
yeah. I mean, can't you even count the next match as a rivalry? Brock against Paul Heyman. They've never
I
had a
mean,
proper
to be fair,
rivalry.
let me try and spin it on its head a little bit in terms of Brock and Paul Heyman. Like, I wouldn't say this is a rivalry that necessarily requires the match. It's more so over time. How good has it been that Brock Lesnar's been with Paul Heyman, then not, then been, then not? Like, you can kind of just appreciate it. Obviously, you've got the start with the Big Show, and then Paul goes back, and Paul, what you call it, snakes
CM
on Brock.
Punk.
Yeah, then goes to Punk. Then it's the Tribal Chief, and then the uncertainties with that. And then Paul Heyman again sacks off Brock Lesnar for the Tribal Chief, and then kind of recruits him back within the Vision, and it's very like the relationship between both Heyman and Brock Lesnar, um, and its rivalry and friendship, I suppose. I wouldn't put it anywhere below B, just because of how special everything has been and how everything is circulated around Paul Heyman. Does that make sense? I
I get
assume it
you.
does.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, but obviously they didn't have the match, so it is a weird one. I don't know.
I hear what Hazard's saying, to be honest. I'd put it C.
Okay. Brock Lesnar against Randy Orton, SummerSlam 2016
Oh,
main event.
can't lie,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
Have you guys been noticing a theme? Brock's got a lot of disappointing feuds that should have been amazing.
I said that at the beginning. I think I said that at the
Yeah,
beginning.
this is another one, man. Like, so I don't know how this match came about exactly. Because obviously both of them weren't in a program together. All I remember during the build is that one amazing segment where Randy Orton comes out of nowhere during Paul Heyman saying, "Yeah, RKO's Brock Lesnar in the ring." And their match, man, just a really disappointing match. This was the first time they both had a match right in the company, and they built, two, massive stars going at it at SummerSlam. It was even the main event, over the over Cena Styles, over I think the Seth Balor for the title. It was, main eventing, and the match was disappointing. The post match angle was really weird. Shane comes out against F5 Brock Lesnar. I don't know what that was leading to. It led to absolutely nothing. Jericho got pissed off backstage, nearly threw hands against Brock Lesnar. Just really bizarre, man.
Yeah, this was a weird time for WWE as well, right? Because they just had the whole brand split draft thing, and SummerSlam was like their first big PLE of the brand split era, and it was very disappointing. And apart from like Cena Styles, it was a mid pay-per-view, and people are like, "Oh, this is gonna be bad." But then all of a sudden, things pick up after SummerSlam, and the brand split for SmackDown at least, it was amazing. But yeah, Brock Randy, dream match on paper. The feud itself was alright, the build up and everything. Like as you said, Danny, that one segment where Paul Heyman was like, Randy will never be able to hit the RKO, and then Randy just comes out out of nowhere and RKO's Brock. It was great. But yeah, the match was just disappointing, and then the finish was just like, eh.
Yeah, D, I'll be honest with you. Is this Rey Mysterio
Even
again?
though you put it in D tier, some of the other I'd still put it in a C. I can't lie.
Really?
Because I'm thinking if we have to move things up from D tier, that's probably one of the ones I would move up.
The other two I'd move up would be Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman rivalries. I
Yeah,
think the
same.
rest are pretty much D. I'll be honest with you.
Don't mind that. Yeah.
Are we seeing Randy stays here, or are we putting it back up as well?
Yeah, put Randy there. Is it as bad as Kane Velasquez? Nah.
Yeah,
Put it
okay.
in
We'll see.
very low C, high D kind of vibe.
Yeah. Rey Mysterio against Brock Lesnar. Again, during that period in 2019 where Rey just randomly, obviously with the Ken Velasquez stuff, the PLE after I think it was Survivor Series, this is where Rey had a match versus Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. I think Dom Sun tried to get involved and Brock Lesnar just ended up beating him over well. And Brock won pretty comfortable there. But other than that, they haven't really feud outside of that, have they?
They had a match out. They feuded until the Royal Rumble as well, didn't they?
All I remember is the Survivor Series match in 2019. I
I'm
can't
pretty sure
remember.
2020 Royal Rumble they had a match as well. But and even in the early era, 02, 03, they had a little mini feuds as well. One thing I will say about Brock and Ray, right? I think they have incredible chemistry. Their matches were entertaining as fuck. I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys agree. It worked
Brock,
so well, the big man, little man
yeah,
dynamic
I
with
was
them.
about to say Brock Lesnar always works well with the little guys, and Rey Mysterio always works so well with the big guys. Evidenced by Bryan, Styles, Mysterio, not Ricochet. Um, but in terms of like what Lesnar and Mysterio have done in the ring, it was great. Kind of like outside in terms of building the feud up itself, using Dominic Mysterio as well, pretty cool. But again, it's kind of like one of those C tier ones where you probably could have done much more, and this would have been a lot more enjoyable. Probably what when Ray was in his well, I don't want to say his prime because he's still hooping right now. Maybe like 2002, 2003 sort of thing. Because
The thing is, has they did have matches on like SmackDown and stuff back then, but it wasn't like a proper
Yeah.
rivalry.
So back then they had obviously Brock versus Ray, one single match, and then Brock and Tajiri versus Edge and Ray, which was another match. So those were the
Yeah.
only two matches
But
they
that
had.
Brock and Ray back then, yeah, it was a fun. They have this funny segment they do where Brock starts running after Ray and Ray's like running circles around him. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
But yeah, I would say this is D. This is nowhere near that. Probably C.
See, yeah, it was a solid rivalry. Nothing amazing, but it's not bad by any means.
See, look, if whoever made this list, if Brock v Ricochet can make this list, why can't Brock versus Styles or Brock versus Bryan not make the list? Because they're much better,
I think
matches.
it's probably because both of them were like
Small
Survivor
series
Series
matches. Yeah.
matches. Yeah.
But this feud was just a joke, bro. I'll be honest with you. Like Brock Lesnar beat Ricochet in a few minutes. No one can take Ricochet seriously because he can't go promo. So this was a pretty pointless feud. This is going straight D for me. I'll be honest with you.
What pay per view was this on?
It was
It's Saudi,
either
wasn't it?
it was a Super Showdown, something like that. Yeah, Super Showdown
Yeah, I
2019.
remember. Because I think it must have been the one before the Rumble because there was a match on before the Rumble um with these two, and it's when and Brock Lesnar were in the ring together in the Rumble before McIntyre comes out, and Brock beat him with a low blow or something like that, and then Ricochet low blows him back, and
I
then
remember that.
Drew
Yeah.
McIntyre claymores him in the end.
Yeah. But yeah, again, not a good feud. The next one, right? This is gonna be the most weirdest one in my opinion because these two, Brock and Roman, their highs have been insanely good highs, but their lows have also been insanely low lows. If you guys get what I'm saying,
I
because
catch the
obviously
drift.
Yeah, it's a weird one. This rivalry.
this feud starts off in 2015, right? When Roman wins the Rumble. They have the build up to the Mania 31 was so awful. Yeah, they took over the title. Roman could really cut good promo at that time. Brock really wasn't speaking, and Brock didn't care at that time, to be honest. So, going into Mania 31, people were pretty, down on this feud. Then it all changes. They have the match, and that match, is a magnificent match, even before the set cash in. And then no one really wanted to see Roman win the match, and no one really wanted to see Brock win the match. But I say if they did want to see one win the match, it was probably Brock. But by the end of it, Roman put a really good babyface performance in it. You could be like, listen, they might have wanted Roman to actually walk out with the title, and then Seth cashes in, right? Like that match is perfect. You don't need to touch that match. I think it was perfect for what it was. Then I think we had the match at Mania 34, where um, people were like, listen, this is where Roman wins the title, but he never ends up winning the title because Brock Lesnar is the one who wins the title because obviously he re-signed with the company. There were reports he was meant to go to the UFC, but obviously that didn't transpire, so he just stayed with the company. And then obviously Roman ended up beating Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2018, I think it was. So that was their feud around that time. Then all the way over to when was it? Mania 30, was it 8? Where they had the match. Oh no, it was SummerSlam, right? It was SummerSlam first because he returned at SummerSlam when after Roman beat Cena. He returned then. They had the mini feud around then. I think their match at Crown Jewel or something like that.
Yes, Crown Jewel.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I think Finn Balor faced Roman the PLE before that, and then it was Brock Crown Jewel, and then the other feud. We talk about the Bobby feud basically connects when it was a winner takes all because Brock won the Chamber. Roman obviously had the other title, and we had that match at Mania 38, which was again I wouldn't say it's as bad as the Mania 34 match, but it was really underwhelming. But you got to put context because that match I think had injuries and it was cut short. But again, that's another not so good match. And then I say the SummerSlam 2022 match, Triple H's first PLE was actually a really fun match, a last man standing match. Did exactly what he had to do.
I think
I'd,
the best
I'd
match.
had some really good spots in that match. After that, I'm not really going to see they feuded. They did have an interaction of War Games in 2025, but I'm not going to count that part of the feud. So, listen, the highs I think have been really good highs, but the lows have also been, pretty bad.
Would you say that the peak of the rivalry was so much better than
Oh, that's a
the
tough one
bottom?
because Mania 34 was painful, bro. It's a tough one, this one. I don't know. I can't put it S though. It definitely can't go in S. Maybe
I
A,
think B. I can't lie.
probably
It's
B.
not. I can't lie. I cannot. I cannot sit here and I cannot sit here in good faith and look at CM Punk 1 month rivalry, one match, Drew McIntyre, Rumble win, goes to WrestleMania, one match done. Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar, 3 matches. Don't even know why Brock Lesnar's going after Cody Rhodes unless you kind of invert it yourself. It's got to sit in A tier for me. I personally would put it in S just on the basis that everything that when you put Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns in a ring, you expect to see fireworks. And out of the matches, they've done it under half. But the ones that were under half, I think, was so much better. Like the last man standing match, the amount of chemistry they had in that match, the stupid spots they were doing, the kind of shits that Brock Lesnar gave absolutely zero throughout that entire cowboy reign. When he was, bantering Sami Zayn. And doing all sorts of random shit. Like that Cowboy Brock was one of my favorite personas of Brock Lesnar, and that kind of only came about because of how relaxed and let go was. That was probably one of the best Brock Lesnar personas, and that could only be brought about because of the fact that Roman Reigns was the tribal chief, so Lesnar could take a more relaxed sort of standpoint. Um, the build up between Lesnar and Reigns for the winner takes all was really, really good as well. I thought it just had that massive match feel, and you thought, okay, this is going to be it. And that injury kind of made you feel like they've got to go one more time. Just felt like it couldn't end there. And then, they had that barnstormer of a match, which is arguably the best of their feud um, at SummerSlam, where Roman Reigns, stood above Brock Lesnar. So, I would put it in S personally. You guys understand we want to put it probably with between B or A. I just can't stand it being in B. There's no way it can. I can
I
just
just
function.
think for every good moment, there's a bad moment. That's why I can't put it in S. A, I understand why you want to put it in A, but again, it went on for over years, and for every good moment, there was a bad moment. I don't know, man. It's a really weird one. Copy.
Ah, I think A. I can hear A, but I don't know. I was underwhelmed at
It's got
most
to,
of the time.
if it's gonna be anything relative to the list, it's got to be a very low A, high B.
Yeah, well, we can give you that.
Okay, we'll put it in B for right now, and then at the end we'll go over the rankings. Brock Lesnar versus
It's not
Rollins.
really a rivalry, man. Just skip that.
Yeah, obviously Brock beat him to win King of the Ring, didn't they? And then did a
Yeah.
match at Avengers, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, winning the King of the Ring, I'd say see. This is okay. Brock Lesnar against Samoa Joe.
It
Samoa
goes
Joe should have won the title at Grey Balls of Fire. I don't know why he never won the title. He was red hot at this time. Everyone loves Samoa Joe. That intense promo he had with Paul Heyman, bro, was phenomenal. The match was again really disappointing. 5 minute match, similar to the Braun Strowman match, pretty identical to be honest. Two hot guys, having a match against Brock Lesnar and losing in like 5 minutes. This was a guy I wanted to win the title during the time. I think he won a 5-way on the previous pay per view. I think it was against Roman, Seth, Balor, and Bray. I think it was. It'd be all of them to get the title shot against Brock. Grey Balls of Fire should have won. I was disappointed they never pulled the trigger here. I was like, okay, listen, the Mapoli SummerSlam, obviously that didn't happen in the 4-way. But as a feud, the promo battles I really liked, even though it was just that one intense promo battle that I remember. The match disappointing. A corporate anywhere near A or B, but C, I'll probably say.
it goes back to like the whole thing that I said at the beginning. Like Lesnar could have had a lot of feuds that should quite easily be in the A and S tier, but it goes lower because of company favoritism and whatnot. And as much as I do like to see Lesnar win, amazing kind of character within the business. Samoa Joe winning just would have been fantastic, honestly. I remember that it's that same promo battle when he goes, "Oh, you look at me when I'm talking to you, or we can sort this out right now." When Kurt Angle's in the ring, like, bruh, you know. And it's again really disappointing that nothing really came of it in terms of the match. I felt like the WWE was going on a more intense sort of beat the boss kind of run with Brock Lesnar, and I thought we'd get some good matches out of it, but realistically, bit disappointing. I think it's going to be quite. It's got to be C tier. It should even be nearer to the D tier.
The next one, Seth against Brock Lesnar. This feud, I mean, they had a proper feud in 2019, right? Obviously, when Seth won the Rumble and beat Brock Mania for the Universe Championship. Brock Lesnar won Money in the Bank that year. Mustafa Ali at the top, staring at Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar comes out, the seventh man, wins the Money in the Bank, cashes in on Seth. I think Seth was facing Baron Corbin at the time. They had him doing some awful things around that period. Then obviously they had the rematch at SummerSlam where Seth won the title again from him. Their matches I thought were two really good matches, but again it was another case of bad booking during that period for both guys just doing bullshit. Other parts of the feud, maybe you can talk about 2015 where they had that triple threat match. But that they never really interacted. But yeah, I'll probably see.
Um, I don't know. Quite. I think it's a B. It's very close to the B tier actually. Um, I thought it was quite alpha of Brock Lesnar to be like, well, if we're not main eventing, we're opening the show in that mania. Um, but there's nothing necessarily that has been bad at all
Right,
between.
yeah, two.
Yeah, so I'd put it in the B tier really. To be fair,
Copy.
Yeah, I agree with Hazard. I think it could have been better, but I don't recall it being bad, or I thought it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I forgot the match they had at Battleground 2015. You remember when Triple
Yeah,
H
when
in the
Taker
ring
came
with
back.
yeah, again. So yeah, overall probably be fair to be honest.
I'll tell,
Um,
tell you tell you what though. I thought they would have another feud. Just January, February, just gone. When Seth attacked Heyman.
oh yeah, when Obafemi came, yeah. I thought they're gonna match up. I thought the mini match was gonna be Seth v Brock, but thank God it was Brock versus Obafemi. The next feud, Brock Lesnar against The Rock. Copy.
I mean, again, it was only a one match feud, but if you're talking about the importance of it for what it done for Brock Lesnar, you can put it higher. Like the feud itself, it was obviously The Rock was the guy at the point. We all know he was going off to Hollywood. Brock just won King of the Ring, and it was kind of The Rock versus Brock. It was Icon versus Future Star, right? It's one of the best passing of the torch sort of feuds or moments I think I've seen in pro wrestling. The match itself was phenomenal. Like the way The Rock just charges into the ring. I think this feud it cemented Brock as he is that guy. He is he's ready for this, and That's why I think I'd argue it to put it A, but I can understand putting in B. I'd say B or A.
Yeah, I'll be happy with that, to be honest. Again, their match was, like you said, was the perfect passing of the moment, wasn't it? Because um, The Rock was on his way out Hollywood, and Brock Lesnar, won King of the Ring, got the shot against The Rock, and yeah, be The Rock. It was what Roman versus Oba should have been this year, but obviously it wasn't. But yeah, man, it's too short for me to put in A, but I say it's definitely a B.
Okay, sure.
Um, The Undertaker against Brock Lesnar, S tier
S.
for me.
S.
They had
This is probably number one for me.
I was gonna say this is my favorite Brock Lesnar feud. One of my favorite Taker feuds. Bosh on, I'd say probably. Um, they had two amazing feuds in two different eras. You know how crazy that is. Obviously, the
Yeah,
early one, and I did one in 2015. Which again, every match of that feud in the second round, the first round they were all amazing. Like the Hell in a Cell match was phenomenal, but during the second round, you do not expect these two to have the match at SummerSlam they had, and the match they had at Hell in a Cell. Match at Hell in a Cell was so good, bro. Like it's still one of my favorite
they've had two all-time Hell in a Cell matches. That's crazy.
parts. And the SummerSlam match I thought was so good, bro. Like you can see in that picture where they both just got
Yeah,
over,
yeah,
start
it was good. It
laughing
was
at each
sick.
other. The finish, the finish was kind of weird to be honest, but I get why they
It
went
kind of
to it.
worked
It
though. It
worked
kind of
exactly.
worked.
It was weird, but it definitely worked. And then obviously the whole build up to that was amazing. I remember this one promo where Paul Heyman just bowing down to Brock Lesnar and singing a song, bro. Everything about this feud was perfect. I love everything about it. It's definitely my favorite Brock Lesnar Undertaker feud, to be honest. S tier.
Thing is, the matches they've had some apart from the one negative you could say WrestleMania 30, the match. But you know what? Even though the match was bad, it wasn't like great. The importance that it had, the significance that it had, it kind of worked. Like
Yeah.
Undertaker getting injured, looking washed, and all that. It fit into the narrative of the story. Like, oh my god, Brock Lesnar is the one to destroy the Undertaker, and from the feud from 2003, they had a great feud there, and it carried on into when Brock came back. I think it's just a special rivalry. It's just so damn good, so damn
And the
good.
streak,
Easy
and
X
obviously
there.
the streak, Brock Lesnar breaking the streak as well.
Yeah, and the impact this rivalry has. It's an underrated rivalry, you know that in all-time rivalries,
Definitely.
it's up there.
Yeah.
The cultural impact of it as well. Wow.
Yeah. It's amazing. Um, Triple H against Brock Lesnar. This one's a weird one because the matches weren't really great, and I was never really invested into this feud as I should have been. I remember, where Brock Lesnar came out and he broke Shawn Michaels' arm. It was an okay feud, I'll be honest with you. It's not hating the AOS for me. The matches were kind of disappointing to me. weren't really good matches,
I
but
think, I think for what it was though, I mean, aside from Triple H going over at WrestleMania 29, that was dumb. But for what it was, I think it worked. It was one of those few.
yeah,
The Triple H was like the top, one of the top baby faces, a guy that the fans loved, versus Brock, this evil mercenary. Him breaking Shawn's arm and then Triple H's arm, bro. I thought that was kind of fun. And then obviously, I think did Brock Lesnar F5 Vince McMahon or something in the WrestleMania build?
must have. I remember he did. Yeah,
Yeah. So like I enjoyed stuff like that, but again, it's just the matches were underwhelming and the booking decisions are just a bit. I think they had a steel cage match, didn't they? At Extreme Rules. They
did they?
did. Yeah, they did.
Alright.
When I remember it because Triple H he hid the sledgehammer, he painted it silver or something,
Oh,
and then Brock obviously Brock won that. Then after that, Triple H done that weird little thing with Curtis Axel. It was weird. But yeah, I don't think this is terrible though. I think it's good for what it was. It's not amazing, but I think B is fair.
I'll be fine with B, to be honest. A low B, I'd say probably. The last feud, and obviously the most recent feud, Obafemi against Brock Lesnar. Again, another weird one, right? Because even though it was a one-match feud at that time, I would be like, yeah, bro, this is an amazing feud. It did so much for Obafemi, put him over. Brock Lesnar's willing to put him over. The match I thought was a fun match, to be honest. And the match, the stuff that happened after the match, I thought was fine. The build-up to this feud, I thought they done really well. Basically pumping people that is going to be Seth first, and obviously Obafemi comes out. that was an amazingly. But after that, everything that's basically happened after um WrestleMania obviously didn't sit well with all of us. The match they had, was it Clash in Italy? Fan match, to be honest, not good. And obviously the match at SummerSlam a few weeks ago, really disappointing. So it is a weird one. Where would you guys put this?
I'd still put it in B. To be fair, I feel like
Yeah,
um, what it does, what it has done for Obafemi, and what it will do is just put him on a completely different stratosphere to a lot of other superstars. And also, I think the promos that Obafemi was cutting, wow. I think a lot of people kind of look at Obafemi and you think, especially to the casual as well, you look at Obafemi and you think, yeah, big guy, can wrestle. I'm sure he's powerful, etc. But when you listen to the man on the mic, he is an absolute genius, and he was going toe to toe with Paul Heyman, which not a lot of people can do, to be fair. And some of the one-liners he was coming out with just special. Even if the matches didn't live up to it, I think it's one of my favorite. Um, I think it's probably like top three, top four in terms of the promo battles between Heyman slash another person. So that I'd put Cena in there, Rock. Obviously it's got to be the Rock. And then I can't really think of anyone else, to be fair, in terms of like the promos. Um, Maybe Drew McIntyre. Everything just felt so good. Like, you felt, you believe so much in Obafemi, but then you also thought, oh, Brock Lesnar's Brock Lesnar. And the fact that Lesnar retired to Obafemi twice, obviously not once but twice, uh, shows how much respect Lesnar has for Obafemi.
yeah,
Yeah,
copy.
I agree. Even though I was underwhelmed by it at time, I think B still it's going to do big things for Alba in it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, right now the feud is basically Paul Heyman trying to start with Overfemi and Braun Breaker's there right now. So yeah, I'd say B is probably fair. So these are our current rankings. Copy and Hazard. Is there anything you guys are looking that standing out? You want to move up or down?
Not really, no. Probably Lesnar and Lesnar Reigns, I think, could possibly sneak into the A tier, but what I see a lot is potential with so many rivalries that could have been prolonged and just hasn't been because it's just not been good enough, really. Whether it's Brock Lesnar deciding I don't want to work with these people, or the company being like, well, we need to keep Brock at the top for Roman Reigns later down the line. Guess we'll never know.
Yeah, I mean, I think all the ones in D are pretty much gonna stay in D. There's not any there I'd actually move up. C, is any and move down or up? I mean, I had Randy in
Not
D, but
gonna lie,
C.
this might be a bit of a wild take, but Brock Big Show could potentially have a shout for B.
I agree with you, Kobe. He definitely could, especially early on what he did for Brock Lesnar. I'm not gonna lie, it could
Because
be.
I'm looking at the rest of C, it was a lot better than them.
Yeah, I agree with you. To be honest, you could probably put in B.
And then B tier, have we got the only one from B tier? I mean, Brock Roman. I can hear the argument for A tier, and the only other one that could potentially move to A tier is Brock Rock in terms of impact, maybe for what he done for Brock. But other than that, I'm happy with this list.
Yeah, the A I'm fine with. I think Goldberg and Eddie is fine, and S I pretty much agree with. But yeah, I think those are pretty much our rankings. Let's rank the S tier ones then, right? Let's just go with the top three.
I'd say Taker, then Kurt Angle, and then Cena.
I agree with you. I
Any
think,
any order after Taker being number one, I don't really care.
yeah,
I
I
think
think,
Thing with
ta-
Cena 3 because of the rest. We'll say the rest of the loser thing.
yeah, but yeah, man, that's pretty much our rankings for the Brock Lesnar rivalry. Some of these obviously weren't rivalries fully; they were just one match. So I mean, whoever made this, tier list didn't do a good job. But yeah, I think
but thank you anyway for helping
yeah,
us.
thank you for the video idea. But yeah, man, we pretty much ranked every Brock Lesnar feud, rivalry, match, whatever you want to call it. Like as I said at the start of the video, a lot in the COD where you could have been like, this could have been so good, and they just didn't, come to fruition. And yeah, the ones in SA and B are pretty much, all really good feuds. Yeah, that's about it, man. Brock Lesnar is hopefully officially retired. We don't want him facing someone like a Braun Breaker at Saudi Mania. We have to, redo all of this again and put, the Braun Breaker video maybe AOS. But yeah, man, that's pretty much everything done. Carpe has any last words?
Nah, I just broke my
No.
armchair, so I'm just gonna have to fix that.
Nah, I mean, let us know what you guys think, whether we got this right or we got this horribly wrong. But yeah, man, plenty more wrestling content for you coming up for you guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel. For those of you who are already subscribed, we appreciate the support. Just keep on supporting, keep on sharing with your wrestling fans and friends. And yeah,
Like Carpe said, let us know below of your rankings. If there is any outrageous ranking we've done over here. But yeah, this week we'll have a Raw and SmackDown review out, joint one. Also, talk about the KO and Punk match last week and all that good stuff. We'll have some more tier ranking videos out and hopefully do a quiz sometime soon. Hazard can defend his title. But yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see
I
you
think
next
I
time.
think I think I might have to relinquish, and you guys can have a battle royal. We could also do some auctions and stuff. To be fair, we've been
Yeah,
seeing some really cool TikToks, so I could go with that.
but yeah, we'll see you next time.
See.